One. All right, guys, welcome back to the Unpredictable Fitness Podcast. Today I guess we have an exciting announcement regarding some business things with Brendan Tappan and myself. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that Brendan and I have we've already had some content together, but Brendan and I have known each other for like over 5 years at this point, and we've talked every single week more or less for the past probably the past 3 years about powerlifting stuff, and we just are like really aligned with a lot of things. And I'm going to let Brendan explain a little bit more since this is more of a merger with his company about why this is something that he's deems that is necessary right now.
Yeah, so first things first, I'm Brendan Pappin. So I'm the owner of Momentum Powerlifting. I've been coaching since 2018. I founded Momentum Powerlifting in 2021. Um, and basically, I'm just at a point in powerlifting coaching where I've been kind of like steadily at my max capacity for clients. And just knowing Adam and like just the things we have in common, like our passion for coaching, our passion behind business. How can we make and provide the highest quality service possible? Um, just some of those things we've talked about over all these years. Like it was a no-brainer. So the big announcement, basically, I'm bringing Adam Peeler on as an assistant coach under Momentum. Just really excited for the future. I think this is going to be big for both of us. But yeah, nonetheless, like really happy to have him on board. And I think we can definitely like between the two of us and just the passion we provide, like we can really just take our coaching and our clients to that next level.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, um, Brennan, and I have had, so many different like client results and experiences, and we just align on a lot of different things. And one of the biggest reasons, why I think that, that this matters too is that one of the biggest problems in powerlifting coaching is just service quality. A lot of, when I hear all the time, people go like a week without a response, or 2 weeks, or blocks are always late, and there's just a very poor quality of service, and that's something that really matters to both Brendan and I. That's a big reason why Brendan and probably like honestly the entire reason is Brendan understands that like he's kind of at his capacity and understands that if we're both going to be able to help out more people, then this is the best thing to do. And Brendan and I always have offered very high quality levels of service with our communication times. Responding to all of our clients within 24 hours with thoughtful messages, doing phone calls when needed, when deemed necessary. Brendan does handling for all of his clients like crazy. I was so impressed when he decided to fly out here for the power to handle at USAPL Nationals when it was here in Utah. And like he was working until like 1 a.m., like some of those nights. And you really can't fake that passion. That's why, all of his clients see such great results. And I think that it just comes down to, um, I think it's important for our listeners to understand. Your coach tells you how much they care about you by their quality of responses when they get back to you. Um, if and this doesn't matter. And I've talked with people about this with other coaches. It doesn't matter if you are a world's level competitor or you are just the average Joe, quote unquote, who is has a 400 dots trying to get to like 450. If you're paying the same amount of money to the same coach, you deserve the same level of service. And Brandon and I promise to every single one of our clients that we will. We are 100% all in. We're going to give you 100% of our attention and feedback. You matter to us. We are going to be able to, remember things about you as people with your training. It is business first, it is programming first, but I ask all my clients questions about themselves and their lives and their hobbies, and that just matters.
Absolutely. And I think that was one of my biggest missions and goals when I started Momentum. Like it was never about just me as one solo coach. Like my mission was always to have like a team of coaches under Momentum to really just bring together like a community of powerlifters. And powerlifting can be one of those kind of individual sports, but you're really fine when you have that community that backs you. You see everybody thriving, making progress. It's just contagious. Like that's really, and it makes this sport so fun too. When you have this big group of people, everybody's succeeding. Like it's almost impossible not to succeed when you have that type of environment and just like having that kind of like backing behind you. And
I think something
one
else
of the
too is
biggest
like,
things,
go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, one of the biggest things too, like bringing on a second coach, it's always kind of a gamble. There's nobody I'd rather have than Adam Peeler though. And the biggest thing with that is I just know the passion and the time that he puts into his clients. Like he's not just one of those coaches that's going to put, he's going to talk to his clients once every couple of weeks or once a week. Like he gets highly invested into every single client's like progress. Like for him, that's what he likes to see. He's not going to be one of those coaches that has like, 70 to 80 clients and you just can't even talk to all your clients. Like he gets so invested into like helping his clients succeed, getting them to their goals. And that's why he's just a perfect fit to bring under momentum. Like I'm really excited for what his future holds.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I mean, that is true. That's why, Brent and I have been able to do this full time. Like I've been doing this full time for 5 years. You've been doing this full time for what, 10 years?
I've been coaching for 8 years. So again,
So
it was kind of a
my
slow
point
start off the
though,
bat, but
my point with that though is that, well, and technically I haveneen coaching for over 8 years too, but full time for five. But like, people only last for that long if their service and their results are solid. As you can't really fake that. I also do think that, something else about Brennan and I is that not only have we had results, we also do the damn thing. We are both very much into training ourselves. And we're just nerds. We like learning about lots of different things. We're constantly staying educated and updated. I
always
think it's
learning.
so important for coaches, even if they're not like, and some of the best powerlifting coaches don't actively powerlift, but at least train and stay invested in the sport. Once your coach kind of taps out, it's very difficult for them to stay up on top of current trends, or even just forget like what it feels like to train. Like, when
Yeah.
you're strong, like, it always makes me laugh whenever someone, like, I see some of these workouts and people are complaining about fatigue, and it's like squat and deadlift for like tons of sets, lots of high intensity. And then it's like, let's just slap on a regular ass bodybuilding accessory workout when that doesn't really work. There's results in people, thinking that they're really tapped out. And my mission with all my clients has always been, you know, I want to help my clients shatter any training plateau they're dealing with. Get their dream physique while doing it. Because I think powerlifting is actually a great vehicle for getting a great physique. And if it comes down to programming properly for that and still having where you can push your accessories and then really just ultimately achieve elite performance, really achieve your genetic potential, because that's what I'm obsessed with. That's what Brennan is obsessed with, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter, like, you know, that is truly all that matters. Like, we all have different key capabilities, but this really should be about how good can you be yourself. That's why Brennan and I will celebrate and we'll share, the person who's hit their first 100-pound bench press and their first 500-pound bench press, because it's both the same amount of meaning.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really cool about the both of us too. Like we both stem from this bodybuilding building background. Before we ever got into powerlifting, both me and Adam started off like bodybuilding. And you'll see, like a lot of times, like our clients get very strong in the power lifts, like we make really great progress. But it's also like that physique component too. Like if you look at our clients that have been with us for a long time, like they're freaking jacked. Like they look incredible. They reach some of the like greatest physiques of their whole lifetime. And it's kind of the best of both worlds. And I think the two go hand in hand a lot. Like just knowing which accessories to push. And if you're really training hard, you're doing all those little things right, like you're gonna get strong as hell. And you're also going to have an incredible physique and just have those aesthetics that are, what people dream of.
Yeah, and with that too, I think that a lot of times, Brent and I even had podcasts in the past about power building and how it sucks, and I still stand behind that as far as like how most people do power building, but
Right.
like proper power building is the meta. The problem is that that's the hardest way to program, but that's why you have people with experience who have done it themselves who are able to consistently make improvements with their muscle mass and strength at the same time. It matters a lot, and I think that something else too is that I know that a lot of people say, oh, just squat, bench, and deadlift, but Brent and I talk about this extensively. It depends on the lifter. That's something that we do with all of our clients. We customize it to your needs. There are some people who they really do thrive off of the high specificity approach, higher frequency, and they just really do eat it up. There's other people who like less is more. I have one client who is smashing PRs on twice a week bench. He's been the past 4 blocks, and he came from 3 times a week, and he's been able to push all of his accessories more, and he's getting stronger. For example, Brandon and I, like, we're not the best leverage squatters, so for us, it's like why would we give ourselves really high intensity backdowns when we could, it's not going to do that one much good for us. We'd be much better served, getting that intensity stimulus to build muscle on a less fatiguing exercise. I mean, those are considerations you have to think about when you're programming for a client. There's no one size fits all. There's no template that a lot of coaches use. Like we treat all of our clients as individuals, and you will feel as an individual with us. It's truly my goal. Every single one of my clients, I want them to feel like they're my only client with how much I care.
That's the benefit behind like working with one of us as well. We've worked with so many different clients at this point in the game. I think I've coached well over probably between 250, 300 clients. So, I mean, and probably same with Adam too. But it just comes down to like we've worked with so many different like client types, different leverages, different individuals. We know exactly where to take your training, depending on like your biomechanics, your lifestyle. Like we look into all those small little details of like, how can we optimize this to get the best bang for the buck for this individual? Um, and again, like Adam was kind of touching upon too, like we want you to feel like you are our only client. Like I don't care if you're a world champion, I don't care if you're a beginner. Like I still want to provide that same exact quality service to each individual.
Right. And that's what really matters. And so, I think it'd be good to go over kind of like the main pillars of our program. And that would basically be customized programming, technique coaching, as well as the community and the accountability and feedback. So with our customized programming, how Brandon and I both program is that the longer that you guys stay with us, the better your programming is going to get. Because we're going to understand how you work, how you tick, what you respond best to, where we can figure out how much volume do you need on each lift to feel like strong and, feel like you have skill. What's the top step progression strategy? How many accessories do you need to do? How much training can you tolerate per week as far as like for frequency? Just everything customized with you. And this is basically how people go from good to great to elite is having that customization that progresses with them, tracking key metrics. Um, and then having technique coaching. um, Brendan has a unique, obviously, doctor of physical therapy. That's a huge advantage here. And Brendan is not just some, quack who thinks that there's only one way to move. Our technique coaching is based off of how you look, your own muscle strengths, your limb lengths, what feels strongest to you. Regardless of what might look better on paper, pretty on the outside, might not be what feels strongest, might not be what feels pain free, and that's okay. What matters is that you're finding an approach for you that is consistent. You feel strong. You're lifting pain free, and you can consistently get stronger over time. And also, something that a lot of powerlifters don't realize is that you're moving up a weight class. Your technique strategy might need to change. Instead of you having to wonder what the hell do I do, you have Brendan and I there to say this is probably what you should do because we have experience, right? Experience is so valuable here because we've had like all these archetypes. We know exactly how to problem to solve much faster than anyone else would on their own. We're the amateur coach. And then last is going to be with our community and accountability. All of our clients are going to be basically merged in like one little group chat. We're going to be sharing tons of like PRs, whatever, on like our social media in the group. And like as we mentioned, having premium communication with 24-hour response, voice notes as needed. You guys should hear our voices. Phone calls as needed if a problem arises. You have an injury, Brendan, I can like refer to any clients. I have a background in athletic training. And I've talked to Brendan extensively about this. We can get you, lifting pain free and moving pain free, in a matter of, weeks instead of months and years.
Yeah, and with my background in physical therapy too, having my doctorate, one of the really biggest things that I provide as a coach, like I want you to master your biomechanics depending on that individual, like depending on your leverages, your build. Like I really, and I'm always learning, I'm always trying to dive in. How can we be more effective? How can we be more efficient? And just really dialing in on how, what's the exact biomechanics that's going to optimize this lifter's bench press the most, their squat the most, their deadlift the most, just really honing in on those small things. And you'll find too, like I'm probably a little pickier, especially once I start working with a client, like those first few blocks, I really dive deep into like perfecting those mechanics. Like I want them to be as efficient as possible. Um, Really, really big on that. And again, I think it's a huge benefit too. Anytime you're injured, there's a lot of coaches in the space that they just don't really understand rehab and pain. Whereas like if you're working with us and under momentum, like you get injured a lot of times in a matter of days, we're getting you on like right back to where you are. Like by the time you're training that next comp movement, let's say you strain something, a lot of times you're already training that comp movement again by that next session. And we're just on top of things. Like we pride ourselves in communication. You get injured, we're gonna have you a rehab program probably before you leave the gym even. So um, and just being, that's the whole goal. Like we want to provide that highest quality of service possible in all aspects of training, rehab. Um, we just really want to just, you know, provide the best we can. Like because the clients they deserve the best, highest quality of service possible.
Yep, and harmony with the with tools too with programming. There's a lot of times this does come down to programming with whether or not you're able to sustain training or not. And this isn't to say powerlifting is without aches or pains or injuries. That's part of any sport, but it's about having the appropriate management strategies and arming you as well with knowing how your body works and if this is appropriate or not based off of where you're at. So yeah, I think that's huge. And again, like I mentioned earlier, the whole point of this is just like we are obsessed with getting people to their genetic potential. Like that is the most fun part of this. So that is kind of what we're going to be able to get you. And then if you care about your aesthetics, which you probably should, like we also can help program for that. I mean, I've been able to stay really lean. Brendan has too, while packing on tons of size. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make actually is just trying to think they can force feed gains. Um, like it's just not part of the process. And while the momentum service is not nutrition as well. Adam Peeler Fitness will still be like separate as well. Like this is basically, me being an assistant coach, but I'm still having like my own coaching. If that's something that you guys wanted to do from me too, like I can offer on like, a new nutrition plan for you guys where we can actually get you, understanding how fast you actually need to gain weight to build more, more muscle. Are there other things that we can do to help you optimize your performance that don't have to do with just like nutrition and getting stronger was like that's something that I think a lot of times with our communication we'll ask about too, like what's going on in your life, how are like recovery variables, are things consistent, how's your water intake, like stuff like that, and holding you accountable because I think that accountability is what holds you like to really reach the highest standard possible. And Brent and I hold each our both of ourselves to very high standards, and when all of our clients come on, like they get that exact same high standard. There's like something I say in my business, which is do your job to clients. That basically means like we show up, we do exactly what we're supposed to do, regardless of how we feel, because we have goals, we want to achieve an outcome. And the reality is that that's what it takes. You're not going to feel motivated all the time, but that's why you have coaches. That's why you have here. That's why you have the community. That's why you have some support.
Absolutely. And that's definitely the mission behind momentum altogether. And what it's really about too, and I kind of got lucky with the name brand too. Like you hear a ton of powerlifters talking about like building momentum and training. At the end of the day, like that's what powerlifting's all about. Like, and training in general. We really want to drive home like building momentum sustainably, finding that optimal dosage, finding that optimal setup, that split setup that really is going to take you to that next level and where you can just thrive and just really build and compound that momentum to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Every powerlifting coach kicking the air when they find momentum. Uh, yeah, that truly is what it's all about. Um, I mean, I've been talking most of this, Brendan. I want to let you have a chance to say what you want to say.
Yeah, and I think I'm just all in all, I'm just really excited to have Adam. I think, we were very aligned mission wise, what we want to bring to the table. And I think the coolest thing too is we've talked over a lot of the small things and details about like, okay, how many clients can we actually handle at a time? We really want to make sure that we're not exceeding that certain cap where our quality of service suffers. Like we want to provide that highest quality of service possible. Another thing too is both of us, like we've been in the game for a long time. We've been coaching for many years. We're still learning to this day. We still like nerd out over this stuff and we're like, how can we make this better? How can we make training better? How can we get better results for our clients? And it's just one of those things where we're constant learners to the game and we're always trying to level up and get better. And it's cool too. Like I know Adam kind of talked about this before, how there's a lot of coaches that just don't even train anymore. Like it definitely changes when you're still in the game training. Like you still kind of know that feel. You get that feel of like, okay, wow, this was like a really crazy session. This isn't very sustainable. Those small little details, like we kind of can feel it for ourselves too. Whereas some of the coaches that have been out of the game for a long time, they kind of forget like, oh wow, did I just program an SBD day with 6, 7 sets for squat, bench, and deadlift? Like it's very, very taxing. Sustainability standpoint, like we understand those little micro details that are involved in training because we're going through it every day. And nonetheless, like Adam, how many times have you taken a week off in the past 5 years of training?
Was a week off.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm the same way. Like I go on trips. I do a little bit more at this point in my life. Like I'm definitely going out, but nonetheless, like I'm a gym hopper too. Like you'll see me at different gyms across Michigan, or if I'm in a different state, like best believe I'm finding
Jim
whatever
Ho.
gym I can. Yeah, right. But I'm still trying to find a gym to get my session in and being flexible. And I think that's one thing that I really enjoy too is providing that flexibility to the client around their lifestyle. And like I want to really like drive home the fact that you can do other stuff besides just powerlifting. You can go on these trips and still get the most out of training. And I think all the years of my like crazy life schedule and still training on top of things, like it's kind of helped me understand like, okay, how can I still set up this certain lift while I'm on vacation? Or how many rest days do I need? How many days do I have to train to maintain my baseline? Just some of those small details where you can make this sustainable. And I think that's one thing that's helped me stay in the game for as long as I have. I really, personally, I don't take a lot of time off either, like between training. Like I train year round every single year. So
I think especially as an
just
older
some of those small
lifter
things.
too. Like I mean, an older lifter, I mean like you're actually working an actual job. Like that stuff matters more and more because life happens
Yeah,
and you have more responsibilities. And so it's important to understand like how to structure training based off the season in your life because maintaining progress is still valuable. There's a lot of times people in that circumstance who's like, I just don't know what to do, I just go backslide, and they have spend half the year getting back to where they were versus they can just be like, okay, I'm in a good spot, I can crank, go back to the what I know where works best, but I'm in the right environment for it to happen.
definitely. And it's cool kind of working with a wide diversity of different clients. Like we'll work with people who are in college that are basically eating Chipotle before the gym every day and they feel phenomenal. They're sitting in class 2 hours, a day and they're going and they're charged up to go train versus, I've worked with clients that are they have 2 kids, they work a full-time job, they have to train in their basement late at night, or even just working with like some of the older population too, like masters lifters, like really making it the best that you can for them. Whether it means, less training days or we train asynchronous, just some of those strategies that you can, implement differently. And like Adam was saying, it does change a lot when you're working a full-time job. You have these other life obligations, but nonetheless, you can still make plenty of progress with the proper guidance.
Fully agree. Well, I think we yapped on for long enough. Honestly, we love what we do. We're very passionate about it. We're very confident in our ability to get good results. Right person who chooses to work with us. Um, Brendan, where should people go if they want to hire either one of us?
Yeah, so if you want to hire either one of us, you can go right to the Momentum Powerlifting Instagram page. And in the bio, there's a link. You can basically put an inquiry form in there. If you have a preference as well, you can pick between like either me or Adam, or if you're just open to whatever, we'll assign you with a coach of who we think is going to be the best fit. But go over there and we'll schedule a call. We'll talk things over. We'll map things out accordingly, and we'll get you right on track. So, but nonetheless, man, I'm very, very excited to say the least about having this collab. Like two passionate dudes. There's not another coach that probably has that same amount of passion for this sport and his clients as Adam Peeler.
Yep.
Just really excited for what's to come in.
Me too, brother. And everyone who's like wondering what's happened to me, I'm still here. You guys want to work with me? Links are down below to apply for coaching in the show notes or reach out to me on Instagram, send me a DM. But again, momentum is I think I guess one last thing, like my clients will also be like merging with this too, in a sense of like they're like the community. Well, they'll also be a part of the momentum community. And then all my clients will also have access to Brendan for his DPT services. I did discounted rate. So yeah, that's another perk of working with us. So yeah, I think we yapped for long enough. yeah, please, if you guys are wondering, like, you're just discouraged, don't think you think you can't make progress. You've been wrong by past coaches. We'll make that right, Um, so reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Um,
Yep. Big things to come, man. I'm looking forward to like really expanding upon like driving home more content to help all the lifters. And that's ultimately our mission. Like we want to help as many people as possible. You know,
yeah, and we will be having podcast episodes too, probably like once or twice a month, depending on what works best for us and our schedules. Again, clients come first. We're talking about some different topics just to provide you guys some more value here. So hopefully that is exciting. But anyways, we got for long enough. Thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Hours for coaching.